Bake with us, Canada. This week's bakers are Dianne and Melanie from the Sweet and Savoury Pie Company. And this week's recipes are for apple pie and spinach and feta quiche. Visit bakingforchange.ca.
Welcome to another delicious episode of Baking for Change. I'm your host, Wendy Pauls, and you know by now that I'm always excited when it comes to this show. I love meeting people, I love baking, I love learning things, but today there's another extra level of excitement. I've often met new people or not tried their baking before, but in this case, I can personally vouch for the deliciousness that they are going to bring us today. So we have Dianne and Melanie from Sweet and Savoury Pie Company with us today. So welcome.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having us.
Oh, I'm so excited. I haven't been on this side with them. I've just been like a customer, you know, going in and buying and tasting and eating, which I'm looking forward to the tasting part at the end, of course.
Yeah.
But I get to kind of see behind the curtain today, and so do you. So this is very, very exciting.
Yes.
So start by telling us a little bit about you, a little bit about your business, because there's a couple locations, because people might see there's a different name on your shirt than what I said. So just highlight all of that for us.
Okay. Well, my husband and I started the company, it'll be 10 years this coming April. Wow. We started in April of 2014, right from scratch. My husband does come from a long line of bakers though. His dad immigrated from the Netherlands in the 60s and started a bakery in Port Perry, which is my husband's two brothers took over that. And at that point, my husband said, well, I'm never going to get my hands on the family bakery. So we actually did something else and then turned it back around and got back to the roots. So, yeah.
So how long have you been in the area? That's 2004?
2014 is when we opened the bakery. We've lived in Kitchener-Waterloo since 2002.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And what about like the two locations? Like I know it's been a couple years since you moved locations. Tell everybody where you are now.
Okay, so Melanie and I, we work at the Uptown location, which is at 94 King Street North in South. Always do that. 94 King Street South in Uptown, Waterloo. Our other location is at Bridge and Northfield in the Blackstone development. And that's where my husband and his team bake out of. So it's great. We work in the same business, but we don't work together side by side, which is great. Yeah, Melanie is my right-hand person at the Uptown location.
I'm on the left hand today.
That's right. You are on the left hand.
The left-hand person.
Yeah. And Melanie is our manager of the Uptown location, as well as the head chef there. Melanie is responsible for creating a lot of the meat mixes along with my husband, which is wonderful. We're so lucky to have Mel.
It's good to be part of a team.
So what I want people to know as well, and we're kind of dabbling today with doing some sweet and some savory.
Yes.
You have, and I've tasted some, really unique on the savory side of pies, maybe things people haven't thought of before. Tell us about a couple of your, you know, unusual savory pies.
Oh, unusual, you say. We just debuted this pie last month. We call it the pizza lover pie.
I have not tried it yet.
Oh,
I'm going to try
fantastic.
it. I'm going to try it.
Yeah.
Think of a deluxe pizza. You've got your pepperoni, Italian sausage, green bell peppers, onion, the pizza sauce marinara, and mozzarella cheese all in a pie.
Oh, I don't know about you, but I'm getting hungry just hearing about it. I have tried your butter chicken pie, your like kind of classic meat pie. Is it a Guinness pie?
Steak and Guinness.
Steak and Guinness pie.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. And of course, lots of your sweet pies. So I could just talk all day about this, but I suppose people are tuning in because they want to see us like make something.
Make something.
So what are we going to be making today?
Well, I'm going to look after the sweet side of things. So I'm actually going to do a traditional apple pie.
Love it.
We're coming into Christmas and apple is still such a fan favorite. Like not many people don't like an apple pie. So I'm going to look after the sweet side of things. And Melanie is going to look after the savory.
Ta-da!
Fantastic. Okay, Dianne, tell us how we start.
Okay, so this is a classic apple pie, and we try to use everything local. So all of our apples and all of the apple dishes that we do come from Martin's Apples. in St. Jacobs, and they're wonderful. Now I have actually brought pre-sliced apples. So I'll just go ahead and start putting it together and let you folks at home know ratios and the ingredients and what you need to put it together. So
Fabulous.
You start with 4 cups of apples. And then you're going to take 1 cup of white sugar.
I'm tracking along so far.
A teaspoon of cinnamon. A half a teaspoon of salt.
And look at this, all pre-measured. This is how you should bake at home, I think, right?
And then 2 tablespoons of flour, which is your binder. And I have gloves on because I like to get right in there, and
We've had other bakers that like just getting in there.
It just gets down and dirty.
Yeah,
That's right. Get into it.
You have to get right into it and get everything mixed up.
So this is helping you get it more coated.
It is. So it's all coated, and then what it does, it creates a slurry. So if you let it sit, the sugar will actually start to cook the apple even before it goes into the oven. So yeah, if we were to let this sit, it would soften the apple, and you'll see more of the juices, like Melanie said. They actually come right out. Fantastic. So we have our pre-punched pie shell. I thought it was easier that we just bring it today.
Sure. It was a little hard bringing a 500-pound pie press.
Yeah. So we do make our pastry fresh daily and hand punch the shells. We hand roll our tarts and put the butter tarts in by hand every day. Our pastry is, however, a family trade secret. So I can't give you the recipe for that. Okay, so you've got your nice mounded pie, and this 4 cups of apples. We have a standard 9-inch pie plate, but you could do it in a 10-inch. It's just going to depend on how much apple.
And then you would adjust your apple quantity. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, yeah.
So we've got all of our filling right into that pie shell. It looks a little full right now. We're making it extra special just for you, Wendy. But for those of you at home, depending on the pie shell that you have, you may have a deep dish pie tin or a very shallow pie tin. So depending on the filling that goes in, also adjust the cooking time for the pie.
And how can you tell the cooking time?
Yes, well, the cooking time will vary, but you'll have to test the pie by poking into the apples to see how soft they are.
Okay.
And you can typically tell by the color of the pastry. As it bakes, it'll become more golden and golden brown. So, but
Some
absolutely, certainly to test it, always good to get a knife or some sort of poker just to make sure that your apples then are nice and soft.
And if people don't have a recipe that they already use for pastry and they want to make the pie, what are some recommendations that you have? What are options for people to make this?
We are now selling our pastry in store. So people can call in and request. We can either pre-punch the shell. So if you were to wanted a pre-punch shell, you can get 2 shells. The bottom, obviously the bottom, you can take the pie shell out and use it as the top. Or we sell our pastry by the pound.
Oh, yeah, fantastic.
We'll make it so you don't have to.
Yes, that's right.
I like that. But they still do the other part, so it's still, a homemade dessert with a little bit of help.
Absolutely. And people then can put it in their own dishes, and and they're creating their own fillings.
Oh, that's great.
Okay.
I love knowing that, by the way. Note to self.
So, to bind the pie together, we use an egg wash. The egg acts as glue. So it keeps the pastry together, and it will seal the pie, so you're not going to get the leakage. So we just sort of egg wash around the top.
Look at that. See, kids would have fun helping with this part.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And then
and you did the pretty little design.
We've got the little apple in the top.
So cute. Helps you to know which kind it is.
People will always ask us in the store, what pie is that? Well, that little marker on top says it's apple pie.
Look at the symbol. It's a giveaway. Okay,
And
and,
then we just-
I
yes.
love what you just did there, because I would have thought maybe you were going to like cut that off, but you're not going to waste any.
No, and we fold it over, which gives it a little more of a crust and a little tighter seal.
Fantastic. See, I would not have known to do that. I would have thought, okay, let's trim it, and it's almost like you've done this before.
Almost. And then to give it the golden wash over the top, we then take the egg wash and just brush over the top. Now, you instead of egg, you can use milk on a sweet pie, on a fruit pie, as opposed to the egg, but we find now, just for people who are dairy-free, it's just easier to use.
Just use the egg.
Just use the egg.
Yeah.
And then there we are, all ready for the oven.
Okay, so we preheated what temperature?
350, and 350 for about 50 minutes. Depending, some ovens run hotter. You can start at 325. That way you're not going to burn it. A lot of ovens nowadays are convection, and convections do bake at 325. And you're looking at anywhere from about 40 to 60 minutes, as Melanie said, depending on the amount of filling that you have.
Yeah, excellent. Okay.
So into the oven we'll go.
Goodie Goodie is a non-profit bakery offering training and jobs for refugee youth.
Hi, it's Stephen at Goodie Goodie, and that was Wendy Pauls, the host of the Baking for Change show. We're getting ready to launch our first ever pop-up bakery, and we could really use your help. We want to earn our way, not just accept donations. So 100% of the profit from our bakery sales and 100% of your donation goes towards paying our young refugee staff. Everyone at Goodie Goodie is a volunteer, and we don't pay for things like rent or advertising, so our administration costs are almost zero, which makes us a pretty good choice when deciding who you want to support. There's a donation link right on our website, as well as in the description section of this video. And the more you donate, the more refugee kids we can bring into our program. For more information, visit goodiegoodie.ca.
Before we get into the savory portion, explain to people the different names of your two locations.
Okay. And it is very confusing, and I do apologize to everyone in the community for it. The name of our actual company is the Sweet and Savory Pie Company, which has been in operation since 2014. The name Just Love Pie is our website, our domain name. It's our motto. And it's just, it was a little bit shorter, and we created it because to have an email or a website, Sweet and Savory Pie Company, would take people forever to type out. And I apologize for all of the confusion.
Come on out to 94 King Street South at Uptown, Waterloo.
That's right. Yes, do it, do it. All right, savory, talk to us.
Oh, well, savory is half the portion of what we do at the Sweet and Savory Pie Company. Today, we are going to be demonstrating a delicious spinach and feta quiche.
Ooh, I love spinach and feta. Good choice.
It's a very nice, light, hearty, savory pie. Christmas is coming. A lot of you are going to be serving brunch as one of your family functions. And what you can do, instead of putting the turkey meal out early, you can serve a delicious quiche just like this one with a side salad, some home fries, anything light that goes with it.
Love it.
So,
all right, so what's first?
Right now we have our heated pan. You're going to have a medium frying pan on medium high heat, depending how hot your stove is. And you're going to use some cooking oil. I have a little bit of olive oil to use as our fat for today. And we're going to let it heat up, and we're going to take some fresh, delicious whole leaf baby spinach, and we're going to saute it lightly in the pan so that it cooks really nicely. It's going to sizzle a bit.
Love that sound, yes.
But it means it's fresh and it's cooking.
Yes. The magic of wilting.
The magic of waiting. It looks like a big amount of spinach right now, but rest assured, it's going to disappear.
It does.
Shrinks.
It
Spinach
shrinks.
is one of those vegetables that just disappear if you cook it.
And with our delicious spinach, to give it that delicious and savory aromatics, we're going to add in some minced garlic. So here is the minced garlic. It's going to cook down If you could smell through smell-o-vision right now, you smell that garlic.
Someday, maybe that'll be like
one day.
Okay?
Everyone wear deodorant. So it took less time for it to sit in the bowl and then to cook down. So as the spinach cooks down, we're going to turn our heat off just so that we don't set fire to the studio.
That would not be good.
That wouldn't be good. And we're going to add the spinach back out of those pans into a bowl, just so that it doesn't keep cooking in the pan. And we're gonna set it aside so we can get ready to make our quiche mix. So this was the easy cooking aspect. So if you're going to do something like this on Christmas Day, Christmas Eve, whatever, it takes no time at all.
Okay, what's next?
All right, we have our cooked spinach. It's completely deflated. But this is what it's supposed to look like when you put it in your quiche.
Yeah. If we saw like the before and after, it would be this big
mound.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A pile of spinach down to this little hearty bowl. It's what Popeye eats every day. So we have our mixing dish. You're going to take a deep dish because you're going to whisk your eggs and your mixture together so that it's nice and combined. So in this recipe, you're gonna, for one large quiche, like this 9-inch pie shell, you're gonna take 4 eggs. You're gonna crack them in. You're gonna try and avoid as many eggshells as possible. Otherwise, we're gonna have some crunchy quiche.
Yeah, and that's a bad kind of crunchy.
That's a bad kind of crunchy.
But not that kind of crunchy.
So we're gonna avoid the eggshells today. And we have everything in here.
Could somebody use a mixer, or is it just too simple? They should just whisk it.
It's pretty simple. I think you can just, and it's quick.
They have the muscle.
That's right.
Yes. And since this is a quick type brunch to do, the less mess, the merrier.
Yeah.
Fair.
You could use a hand mixer. It's certainly not going to do anything to the recipe itself.
Okay.
Yeah.
But if you find that it's easy to use a whisk, go ahead. Yeah. Even a fork works too.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yes. So if you don't have this special tool, a fork will come in just handy. So we're going to take our eggs in this bowl and we're just going to gently whisk it. So we're breaking the yolk and the egg white, and it's going to turn into one color. We don't have any separation of yolk and white. So that way, when we put it into our quiche shell, the pie shell here, you're not going to see the cooked egg white and cooked yolk when it's all baked. So once it's nice and whisked, I'm going to take 1 cup of half and half cream or 10% cream. Really any kind of dairy. You don't want to go too heavy, otherwise it starts to taste very heavy. So half and half cream is very nice.
Is there a dairy-free option?
A dairy-free option, we haven't really explored it just because we have eggs here already. We already use a type of cheese.
Sure.
But some people will use a nut milk or some other type of coagulant that they can use in quiches. For us, we just use quiches dairy with the cream just to cook with. So the cream has been combined. I've combined my egg mix completely, and we're gonna add in our seasonings. So to make this extra delicious, we're gonna add in a little bit of black pepper, just about a dash, just to give it some flavor. We're gonna whisk that in because we don't want...
The official measurement of a dash.
A dash.
A dash, different from a pinch.
It's a dash.
Are those only 2 or do the other?
We got dash, we have a whisper.
Oh,
a whisper.
Oh, okay.
A whisper.
Yes, I haven't heard that one. Yeah.
So we've added the black pepper. We have a little bit of salt. We're not gonna add too much. Again, this time I'm gonna do a pinch.
Okay, yes. A pinch and a dash.
A pinch and a dash. And then we have the seasoning that I like to add when I make quiches at the store is Italian seasoning.
Oh.
Yeah, so Italian herbs, you have a mixture of everything in here. You got a little bit of parsley.
I would not have thought of that one.
A little bit of oregano, a little bit of sage.
It really gives it it just pops the flavor. It just combines with,
Makes
the
sense.
spinach and the feta. Yeah, it's
sense.
delicious.
It's like you have all the herbs in here without chopping everything on a chopping board.
Yes. Yeah.
So we've added everything in, and now we have quiche mix. It's as simple as that.
Wow.
Yeah.
So that's like the base, and then there can be different, not topping, mix-ins.
Yes,
and
yes,
really
for
a quiche, you can put anything in a quiche.
So give us some other ideas. So today we're doing this, but what else could people try?
Roasted red pepper.
Okay.
And with any kind of cheese.
Would you pre-saute? Well, or
usually, a lot of the time, some people like to saute their roasted red peppers. You can get the jarred roasted red peppers.
Okay.
And
drain
slicing.
it.
Yeah, draining and slicing. Artichoke is another really popular one.
Yeah.
Sauteed mushroom. I love a sauteed mushroom with smoked cheddar. That is one of my favorite quiches.
You can make a quiche from very simple to a very elegant dish.
You can. Crab is one that's very popular.
Yes.
Do you have any, what's the most popular? Do you think?
Quiche Lorraine, especially this time of year.
What is quiche Lorraine?
Quiche Lorraine is sauteed onion, caramelized onion with bacon and your choice of cheeses. Quite often it's called for Swiss, but we typically use Asiago.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Sounds delicious.
it's a beautiful combination.
It is.
It's breakfast and a pie.
It is. Yeah. It's
Lots of
delicious.
options to try. Head to one of the locations.
Thank goodness it's Friday, because that's the day Goodie Goodie Pop-Up Bakery is open.
Goodie Goodie is a non-profit bakery providing training and jobs for refugee youth. Delicate French petit fours, giant New York-style cookies and chocolate from Peace by Chocolate in Nova Scotia. And 100% of the profit goes to support their young refugee staff.
Every Friday from 10 to 3 at Community Christian Reformed Church, 1275 Bleams Road, right at Fischer-Hallman in Kitchener.
The quiche mix is made. We're gonna add in our toppings. So the dairy component, besides the cream that I have here, is feta cheese. The beautiful blend of cow and goat feta. So we're going to layer that into our pie shell very generously. And
So what was this measurement? How much did you have in there?
this was just less than a quarter of a cup.
Okay.
So less than a quarter of a cup of feta. You don't want too much just because feta cheese is naturally very salty.
Yes.
So you don't want too much salt,
delicious.
which makes it very delicious. And which is why we also didn't add too much salt in our quiche mix.
It's going to get some from
It's
from
gonna
the
get
feta.
it.
It is, yeah.
And then we're going to add in our cooked spinach. You're gonna ladle it in there so that every aspect of this quiche will have some spinach.
I appreciate seeing this step because I might have thought that it would go in.
Right.
You know, to put it
yes.
in and then maybe it would end up kind of more on one side.
Right.
But I think this is important to see if you want it spread nicely so each piece is going to get an even amount to do it this way.
Absolutely.
So
And then
that's great.
then the egg mixture just falls right over top.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great.
Yes. Because the spinach was very light, it's been cooked down, it'll give it some weight because it's cooked down and it'll stay throughout the quiche. Now we're going to pour our mix in. And we're going to give it just one more stir just so that all of the bits in the quiche mix are completely mixed through. That way we're not looking at clumps of pepper, clumps of seasoning. No one's picking out Italian seasoning out of their teeth on Christmas morning.
I can take that for you.
Thank you. And then we're going to be very careful when we pour because it is liquid. And we're going to gently pour it in. We're going to make sure it's all evenly poured throughout. And we're looking at the pour. You're going to go to about the seam of the pie shell. So that way, when you're moving from tabletop to oven, you're not going to end up with a quiche tsunami. Yeah, so there we go. We're all filled in. And it's ready to go into the oven.
Okay.
So the bake time for this will roughly be about half hour to 45 minutes, depending on your ovens, everyone. We're gonna go for about 350 degrees Fahrenheit for 30 minutes to 45 minutes, and you can check it halfway.
And now we've reached my favorite part of the show, the tasting part. Yay! And today we have Sweet and Savory from Sweet and Savoury Pie Company. How perfect is that? So in case I just get like lost in the tasting part, I want to take an opportunity to say thank you both for coming, for sharing your time and talents with us. I know for our viewers at home, this has been very informative and entertaining. So thank you.
Well, thank you, Wendy, for having us and inviting us on the show. And we'd love to come back if you'd have us.
Oh, I'd love to. I'd love to, because you know, we're regular. I'm a regular customer. My husband's a regular customer. They have great pie, so you have to go check it out. So enough talk. Let's eat. Yes, let's eat. And we tease, and they just get to watch us eat, unless they've been baking along with us at home.
So after some patient waiting in the oven, it took about half hour to 40 minutes for our 2 large pies, our fresh and delicious steaming apple pie, and our savory spinach and feta quiche. So let's take a nice slice out of the quiche.
And normally, how long would you recommend somebody let it sit?
I always let things sit for about 5 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't want it to slop out of the pie pan.
Right.
And we're looking for
burnt tongue,
or
burnt roof of the mouth. Yeah.
So we're looking for beautiful, nice
Oh,
slice
look
of
at
quiche.
that.
There you go.
Yeah.
The steam.
And again, if this was smell-o-vision, I'm smelling the garlic, I'm smelling the spices, but also the apple and the cinnamon. It's amazing.
There we go. So we'll do two slices of quiche, and we'll savor that apple pie right afterwards.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay.
So please taste away, Wendy.
Nobody gonna taste with me? Just gonna watch me? Don't let me eat
We'll
alone.
we'll eat with you.
Trying to get a small piece here.
We won't leave you in the dust.
Yeah.
Thank you. When I took my first bite, I could taste the Italian seasoning. Yeah, and I remember you talking about liking that because it pops.
It just
It
pops
makes
the
it
flavor.
pop. Yes.
It really does.
And blends well with the spinach and
It-
garlic.
It absolutely does.
Thank you, Mel.
Oh, of course.
Oh,
You
that's
know,
good.
they always say you don't make friends with salad.
And we believe in quality control.
Quality
Oh,
control.
yes, yes. Look at that. We're eating what we make, right?
Absolutely. Okay, and I can cut up the apple.
Look at that. I think that's a beautiful thing. I think you could have a channel that just was like on like steam.
It's like the fireplace channel at Christmas time.
Yes.
It's the Pie Place channel.
The Pie Place channel. You guys, this is a new branch of your business. Wow. Look at that.
So as you can see, all that sugar has come out, brought out all the moisture
juices.
and the juices of the apple, and cooked the apple when it was in the oven.
Thank
There we
you.
are.
Thank you. That's amazing.
Did you want to try some?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
thank you.
Let's try it.
We got a little bit of crust, a little bit of apple, everything.
Oh my goodness. Did you hear me? I almost started to cry. It's emotional. Delicious. Thanks again, ladies.
You're very welcome.
You're very welcome, Wendy. Thank you so much.
Thanks for watching, and see you next time on Baking for Change. In the meantime, head to one of the Sweet and Savoury Pie Company's Waterloo stores to grab a few of their amazing pies. Special thanks to Wendy Pauls and Dianne and Melanie from the Sweet and Savoury Pie Company, Red Path Sugar, Danby Appliances, and Community Christian Reformed Church.